probably on the best run of form that we've shown at this stage of the season ever, really, because although we've maybe done a little bit better in the Premiership in a couple of seasons past, and not many to be fair, we've never really followed that through in Europe, and now we've done that this year. Obviously that's very important when you start talking about the autumn internationals coming up. So we're doing everything we can to give ourselves a great opportunity. Obviously we've really got to work hard to follow that through this weekend against Sale, because actually it's the Premiership game that kind of signals the end of this block. It's not really, the game just gone at Montpelier doesn't signal the end of this block of games. The game on Friday night against Sale signals the end of this block of games before we move into the Anglo-Welsh, and the autumn international period. So we've still got a fair bit of focus to get right, and when we get through the Sale game, we can then, we can have a little bit of a breather, but then look at maybe a different group of players, and we start to re-establish what we want in our next batch of games. Fitness-wise,
anybody returning? Anybody out? What's the latest?
It's a pretty similar group this week to last week, but then we are hoping, we're close to getting a broader group of players back for the Anglo-Welsh. So there is the possibility of guys like Dave Ewers and Luke Cowan-Dickey, Sam Hill, Ollie Devoto. There's a possibility of those guys featuring, which would be fantastic for us. Obviously, we've got Alec Hepburn back now starting to feature. He can get some more quality game time in, and obviously we've got a group who are yet outside the starting 23 who are all chomping at the bit to get going. So we're a strengthening group at the moment rather than a weakening group, and that's obviously a real big positive for us.
When you go into a Friday night game having played on a Sunday, it's obvious you have 48 hours less to prepare. What do you decide to focus on, and how do you decide to focus on it? Because clearly you have 2 days less work that you can do.
I mean, obviously the first thing to say is really it still seems in this day and age, when the amount of talk we have on player welfare, that the two TV companies, one who line the games up for Europe and one who line the games up for the Premiership, can't seem to work these things out there. You don't get these turnarounds. I mean, they're supposed to avoid them at all costs, purely based on player welfare. And again, the people organising European TV fixtures are well aware that we had Friday night. That's been in the schedule for quite a long time prior to the European schedule, and it's one of those things. It's obviously a frustration to me. It's like I say, especially as we kind of seem to be the focal point, as professional coaches, of how we have to look after and maintain the balance of players, and then really you get those opportunities taken out of your hands. So now we're very much focusing on just re-energising the group. We understand that our hands are tied to a degree on how much recovery we can get in, and which players we can select, and which guys are going to be fit from a tough game against Montpelier going into Sale. So we'll just deal with it over the next couple of days the best we can. You've seen today we've had a bit of a run around. We've got most of the group out there running around. The guys who come through the freshest and the fittest will be the guys that play against Sale.
Do you think there needs to be some sort of statutory minimum then, from what you were saying there, of between first 15 fixtures, if you know what I mean?
Well, there shouldn't need to be a statutory minimum. It should just be done on common sense. And I think that's the battle that we're probably all a bit frustrated with. Common sense says, you shouldn't be dragging a team around on a Friday to then go and play, play the following.
Drag on a Sunday to play on a Friday.
We shouldn't really be dragging a team around to play on a Sunday to then play on a Friday, either home or away. It happened to Wasps just a few weeks ago, when they had to play on the Sunday, then go and travel and play away on a Friday night. It's happening to us in reverse this time. It's just one of those things. You would just hope common sense prevails, and it doesn't need to be too cast in stone, because obviously there will be times when it's impossible to organise it any other way. But I find it hard to believe that either that Montpellier couldn't have staged that fixture at any other time other than a Sunday. I think that's just one of those things that just needs to be looked at in a bit more detail.
And Sale, obviously, it's not the happiest of hunting grounds for Exeter over the years. What do you do to try and arrest that this time round?
Well, we played very well there last year, and I think that probably showed the blueprint of what we have to do. If we turn up and we're fully prepared and we're professional, and we're prepared to commit a lot of energy to the game, then we give ourselves a great chance. And that's really what's got to be our focus. There's not a lot of point on a short turnaround over focusing on Sale. So today we've talked a lot about focusing on ourselves and what we want to get right in the game, and that's very much what we'll drive through over the remainder of this week. At the end of the day, it's a kind of training week that's ideal for players, because they come in, they do limited amount of training, they're limited time on the field, and they get to play another game of rugby. Well, that should be fantastic. That part of it should be what playing rugby is all about. You have a fantastic experience over in Montpellier on a Sunday, and then a few days later you get to jump in and play another game of rugby. Well, that's what being a rugby player at the end of the day is about, and we've got to and make sure we just relish each game of rugby as it comes along, because they're important games for us. And to be fair, the way we've been playing and the points we've been collecting just make each game bigger and bigger. We've got an opportunity to be, at the very least, second in the Premiership come the weekend if we go up to Sale and perform well. Those kind of things are in our hands, so we've got to make sure that we take that opportunity.